Hello, everybody. Before we get started with today's episode, I want to take some time to announce the release of my new album entitled Enjoying My Time in Hell, dropping March 20th at midnight. Here's a snippet.
Start gazing while I'm blazing, lost in the wrong generation. Stakes are never higher, that's why I'm busy getting faded. Stop giving those fucks when I was way too young. Now I can't even find one, think I rolled it in my blunt. Always was a little runt, never fit in with the other ones. The family sees from a dying tree, success and hypocrisy. Trying to find love like an addict, searching for Molly. Face never looking jolly, cause I think this life is tiring. And I don't care about your God.
I also want to announce a new sponsor of ours and a personal favorite, Guerrilla Graphics Design Agency, who can provide you with a clean and fresh looking product. I actually just recently worked with these guys on my last short film, which is being released, called The Tinder Gang. We had a lot of fun, managed to put out a really professional, good looking product, and I was really pleased with what they did. So I have nothing but good things to recommend about them. They have everything you can ask for with professional equipment and a stellar end product from top to bottom. Head over to GuerrillaGraphics.com for all of your design needs today. That's GUERRILLAGRFX.com.
Being surrounded by people all the time.
Yeah, fuck that.
That shit gets old, man.
Fuck that.
Like, gotta have your alone time. That's critical.
Well, yeah, and that's the difference between like the Joe Rogan experience and like their podcast. Joe has like his own thing. He has like his select people. He has like security and Jamie and him probably, maybe a couple other people behind the scenes, but like,
sure,
you know, very limited. Whereas like Allegiance Skanks, like, or I don't know, like the Logan Paul type of podcast, like I can't imagine how many different people are behind the scenes involved in that thing. That would just be so stressful to do that all the time.
Yeah,
you know. Well, everybody, the podcast has basically already started. We're here.
Getting right into it, man.
Yeah. Aimz, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I have, like we talked about earlier, I have today off.
Yeah.
Finally, hard to get the hell out of work. So anytime I can get away, I enjoy that shit. I enjoy every moment.
Well, I'm glad you're here. You're able to savor it here at the McAllistars podcast,
Hey, man, glad to be here.
102, kicking it off, season 3. All that. Let me ask you first. We worked together, collaborated on my last project my recent project that's coming up, called Enjoying My Time in Hell, dropping March 20th, the day after this episode drops. We'll put links in the description. But we worked together on that, and the thing I really enjoyed about having you on that track, or on those tracks on the album, was you and I go back a long ways. I mean, I think my first project, you were the only feature. Well, no, you're one of 2 features that I had on that album. I mean, and we've said many times in the podcast, but we've always, managed to stay in touch, both professionally and personally.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really cool homage and throwback to like what we did, having you on those tracks. So I guess what did it feel like? Because it was kind of a different situation what we did. We were in the studio, we were doing stuff. I don't know. How does it feel like still doing shit after all this time?
I think what's been like really cool is we've both kind of had our own like journeys through music and kind of experienced our own things, and having like come together after having our own journeys is really like very different, just because like I guess just the fact that like my abilities have increased, your abilities have increased, so it's kind of cool seeing the evolution of like when we first started getting to this point, because we've both changed kind of a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah
Like we're deep down we're still the people we were, but we've experienced new things, and our music has like helped shape us. So I feel like it's gotten easier for us to make music now.
Yeah, definitely. And I was kind of thinking about this the other day, like your music has really kind of evolved to more of like you're doing a lot more like singing and like
Sure.
kind of like tune type of beats, which is great. I mean, I love your style, but it's very interesting for like what I knew you back then is like you seemed like very like more my style, like very like bars, and on my on this album you kind of go more back to that because that's kind of like I feel like that's what my music requires a little bit, you know. But no, like when you do your own personal stuff, there's definitely a different vibe, and it's really interesting to see.
Well, and I really enjoyed getting back to like the bars. So it was cool having those tracks with you where I could be like, okay, like I know what I got to do. I got to get back to my roots and kind of follow that again and just fucking enjoy myself, man.
Hell yeah. Well, that's the beauty of rap too, is like, Juice WRLD would like do freestyle for like an hour and he would do bars, but like
all the time.
When he performed, that was really never the case. He was, well, I don't know about when he performed, but at least one of the albums he put out, it was a lot more about what the kind of style, well, I wouldn't say the kind of style you do, but in the same realm of like more focusing on like the tone and like singing aspect than like necessarily what you're spitting in the rhythm and that kind of stuff.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been working on, some newer stuff, and it kind of has like shifted into this place where now I'm doing things that I couldn't have seen myself doing like years ago when it was just all about bars and lyrics and everything. And I mean, I'm still writing and still doing the bars, but I'm just trying to become a little more versatile and kind of evolve my style a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's a skill that everyone needs.
Sure.
I think with the podcast, it's been a good example of that for me. Like, I think in this world, you gotta like be able to shift your focus and like figure out what you're doing. I mean, you've done that with your music, shifting, your style. And like, I think that's what's really going to keep people moving forward is like, working and grinding with that.
Right. Well, and I mean, you definitely can't look back and, regret the things that you focused on. I guess like maybe if you were kind of stuck in those moments where you're focusing on that one thing for a really long time, definitely have to be able to move past that. And I feel like that's like kind of where I'm going, because my focus was, like I said, it was so just on like just rapping and kind of staying in that lane. And now that I'm like kind of getting a little more comfortable and getting out of there, I can still go back whenever I need to, but I've got to kind of, like you're saying, shift the focus and try to get more than just rap fans involved. I want to get everybody involved. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to do more so.
That's awesome, man. Well, and I think a lot of that goes with just confidence, which just comes from doing it over time. Have you performed yet? Have you gotten a chance to?
No, not yet.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like
no, you're good.
Put you on the spot.
No. I mean, I really do want to perform, and it's kind of funny. I think for the longest time I haven't chosen to perform because I didn't think that a lot of the material that I have come out with is something that I wanted to perform or that could be, I don't know, like hype enough for a show. But I was listening back to some of my older music just like this past week. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I guess I don't know why I was under the impression that I didn't have anything that I thought was worthy enough to play for the people. And I kind of realized that, damn, I do have music that I could be performing and that I think people would really enjoy seeing live. So yeah, I mean, there's been some missed opportunities, but I think I'm just trying to get enough material out there so that when it comes time, kind of like I was saying, I've got, I become more versatile and I have this array of music that I can perform, I guess.
Excuse me. Yeah, that makes sense, man. Yeah, I mean, I kudos to you for, for anyone that is able to get to that point performing. I recently, I didn't tell you about this. I recently just performed like a month ago at the last hip hop showcase. That was for Lola's birthday. And when I started, half the audience left.
No shit.
And then about halfway through, half of that group left.
Damn. I mean,
but you're not controversial like I am, so I think you'll be okay.
I mean, honestly, that could happen to anybody, man.
Yeah, and it's true.
It
might have just been the bad. Like, it might not even been because I sucked or like people didn't like me. It could have just been like a bad time. There was a guy before me, Local Buki. He's actually come on the show that he had like all the hype, and I think like they kind of just all left to go smoke a blunt with him. And
sure. Well, and
fine.
My roommate, my roommate's in a band, and they've been performing like quite a bit. And yeah, you can kind of tell who's there for who they want to see, and they're not, some of them aren't interested in seeing other people, and that's kind of how they just want to leave it.
That's a sad reality of like small starts in music scenes. I think everybody just needs to look at it in terms of like 10, 20 years. I think that's really the problem with everyone. It's like, well, I mean, with anything regarding like Des Moines, like, or anything in general, like they want it to happen next year, the year after. It's like, no, like if you want to start looking at Des Moines in a certain way, you really got to think like, how is what we're doing now going to affect it in 20 years? And like, what's the growth going to look like in 20 years? How's everything going to mold? And like, I don't know. It's just kind of the day and age of everything. That's a sidetrack.
Sure. But, I mean, yeah, longevity is something that a lot of people don't think about. I mean, it sucks because I know people who have said like, yeah, it's like, it's cool that my friends are in bands and stuff, but I don't want to go see them perform, or like, I don't go to local shows. It's like, well, then how do you expect anybody else who is like an actual artist? Why the fuck would they want to come here? Yeah, true. If you can't even go to a fucking local show to bring more of that music and that's, I don't know, just music in general to the area.
I think some of that is to be said for like just the internet and the capability of streaming. I think a lot of people just aren't, with COVID especially, but I mean just in general, I think there are a lot of people just aren't comfortable going out. Yeah. And they would rather stream at home. I feel like that a lot of times sometimes.
I mean, yeah, I definitely can't blame them. Like, and I'm not going to say like I go to like every single one of my roommates' shows, but I would like to. I'd like to go to more of his shows. It's just...
Yeah, and it's realistically, a lot of people are busy. Like a lot of people I know that come on the podcast and do stuff musically, like they work those shifts that like nobody wants to work because that's when everything's going on. It's when everything's performing. Yeah. It's a mixed bag. That I was seeing.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. I mean, you get to the shows or you don't. Like, there's no really way around it.
Yeah, exactly. Have you been working on any new things? What do you got to announce?
Yeah, so I'm currently working on an EP with my buddy Reed. He's actually the one who produced my last album, At the End of the Day. Okay. So we're currently working on a 5-song EP. We've already got names for everything, and we're sitting good. No release date yet, but hopefully sometime this year. I'm also working on an EP with Jordan, the original, my original producer.
Hell yeah.
So we've got some stuff in the mix that we've been trying to finish for a few years now, but the timing has just been shit. So we haven't been able to get together as much as we've wanted to. But hopefully that project we can get all finished up this year as well. And then just still sitting on more stuff that I could be releasing. So yeah, gonna be a busy year, like music wise, definitely. And I think these 2 projects that I'm working on are gonna try to get things going. And I don't know, I guess I was curious, like, so what do you think about this whole TikTok trend as far as like that's where like everyone's putting their music? What's your opinion on it?
Oh, just like what? Just the fact that TikTok's so massive?
Yeah, and like that's the place that everyone's going. Or
yeah, I mean, I don't know. there's good and bad. I think ultimately it's probably bad, but I do think the positive is, like, it's hard, but in a sense, it's also easy to gain that recognition because if the filter is constantly moving,
Yeah.
then that possibly provides room for more people. But it's kind of like it's the Andy Warhol quote, like, in the future, everybody will have fame for 15 minutes. That's literally where we're going.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Like the Logan Jake Pauls of the world. I mean, there's gonna be a time where they only exist for a blimp.
Yeah.
You know, a blimp in time, and yeah. So I mean, and there's obviously bad incentives with, you know, putting all music on one streaming platform. It's a very, you know, or I can't even think of the word. Basically, like a totalitarian, almost like kind of way of controlling everybody's music. Like,
Sure.
yeah, you see the problems with Spotify and everything that we have now. Like, not even regarding censorship, but just like making, you know, biased decisions on who is promoted and who isn't, and that obviously, you know, is gives an unfair advantage to certain people. So
Sure.
yeah, I mean, I would prefer to see a world where there are multiple different music streaming services that people can pick and choose where they would like to go. And is there flies in here or something?
No, it was just like a little piece of fuzz or something. It just came out of fucking nowhere.
We did have a crazy episode here last time, so there might be stuff still floating around.
Still floating around. That's fair. No, I don't know. I was just curious. I got a buddy who keeps kind of pushing me to put my music there as well, and he says it's kind of a necessary evil, right?
Yeah,
At this moment
it has
in
done a lot
time.
for the podcast, I will say.
Sure.
Putting up clips, but yeah, I've never tried my music. I don't think my music would do well on TikTok. Just
Sure.
I think I'd have a lot of people. It's good. Maybe I'd become famous about like getting canceled or something. Maybe I could ride in the cancel culture. Maybe that could be my ticket.
Maybe that could be your thing.
I need to stop doing the podcast. I need to just totally ramp it up.
Ride those coattails.
Just start doing little quick music videos that's like near pornographic, just crazy, me covered in blood and shit. Just crazy shit.
It's crazy because that's where Tyler kind of like, that's where he
Tyler, the creator,
kind of started his.
Oh yeah, like,
I mean,
he's definitely written on that. Like,
it's crazy that like he's as popular and so beloved by everyone now, and it's like, man,
the shit he said.
Yeah, if none of you guys actually know, if like none of you guys have ever gone back and like listened to his like OG shit, like
Yeah,
things would not be the same. Like,
that motherfucker's been banned from countries. Like, there are not many people who that
can
happens to.
confidently say that. Yeah, I mean, you know, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not, you know, hacking on him. Like, I like Tyler the
Oh,
Creator.
I love. Yeah, it's
So,
great.
You know, it's been really cool to see his evolution from like
I agree.
his early days, just rapping about literally the most fucked up shit and like whatever he wanted, to now he's just making like beautiful music and like he's like a sample god. So I don't know, like,
Yeah. It is really interesting, his evolution. I wonder if there's almost something to like. He was canceled before the cancel culture. Like, I wonder if that
In a way.
that just like made him bulletproof. You know, I feel like in a way.
Yeah,
It's like,
actually,
well, this guy's he's already been there, and we've already kind of accepted it.
he's already been the worst. So it's not like he can go any.
He's hidden under the facade of like, I'm a artist and this is my thing. You know, he's been able to do that.
Right.
But it's interesting. I mean, there are people like, you know, I don't think Joe Rogan can ever be canceled. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, at the height that he's at now, like, I mean, I don't think anything's changed since
No.
everything that's happened. So obviously, like,
No, he's still got the 11 million people watching him every time, you know. Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah. There's some people that are untouchable, man.
and we made it that way. So, you know, we're the only ones to blame, really. If anyone's upset about that person or what they say, then it's like, well, he allowed that person to get to that height or that level. So, you know.
What do you think about the Joe Rogan controversy? If you care to speak, you don't have to.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say. I mean, I can see like some of that was out of context, but there was definitely a few things that I was like,
oh, raised an eyebrow. Yeah, the joke about the apes was pretty bad.
Yeah, like
it was pretty fucking awful.
Like, yeah, I mean, like I said, you could analyze some of that stuff and be like, okay, was he making a point? Was he looking at things from a different angle? Was he playing devil's advocate? Maybe, sure. And then, yeah, some of the stuff you're just like, well, that's not redeemable.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, like what can we do?
Yeah, I mean, I think people say stupid shit. I think also, I mean, the ape joke especially, that was like really early in his career. That was like, he was like, it'd be like if I said something like that, like, nothing would happen,
Right. Well, and
a couple people pissed, but
I guess that's the other thing about like that culture is looking back at things, shitty things that people have done, and then kind of digging that up and bringing it to the forefront.
Well, and honestly, that lady did such a fucking bad job with that clip. What she should have done is she should have like taken the entire 5 seconds from each N-word use and like put that in a comp. That would have been an honest compilation.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think what he did was I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it is just a word, and there is a lot. There's people need to consider a lot going into that. I don't think like people should just like. I guess my point is there's a difference between being racist and using the word.
Sure.
There's a difference between me calling somebody the N-word and me saying he said the N-word. I think in every instance of that compilation, he was using it in that context. So you can have the argument or, the debate like, okay, is it okay for you to say that word or should you just use the filler the N-word? But that's different than saying that he's a racist person.
Sure. Well, and I don't know. I guess on the other hand, I did see a really good...
And this is me talking, so...
Sure. Yeah. I did see like a really good video of like Trevor Noah kind of breaking down this entire situation and analyzing it. And he had a really interesting take. His take was that he just thinks that people would be better off if you just didn't say it.
Oh, like then, anybody.
Yeah. Or,
that's a fair argument.
Or, that just like in general, just comedians or whatever, if they didn't use those like trigger words and just period, then they wouldn't find themselves in the situation. And then he like, it was kind of cool. He made it a point that he's like, do you see that the entire time I've been talking about this, once have I said it, I've been saying the N-word. So I do that's his kind of take on that.
Yeah. I do think that, I mean, this kind of goes into my music too. Like, I do think that there's like something important in like a shock value and in saying things that go against the grain that are considered taboo. Like, because I think it provokes thought. And I think although like, yes, not saying things is good in a sense for like, preventing feelings from being hurt and things like there is importance still in thinking about why we have the things we do. Like for instance, like coon. I think that's like a really super offensive thing to call a black person. I think because the N-word derives from, because it's the color, right? That's just a translation of the color. Like I think calling someone an animal is a lot worse than referring to them as a color, in my opinion.
Sure.
And you can have that debate, but there are so many different vocabulary terms that you can use to derogatorily call a black person. But there's been this hyperfixation on this one word. And so I think people need to at least have that argument and have that conversation.
Sure.
And like, I don't know. I think people that get that upset about that just don't want to think about that. And I guess that's the part that kind of is like, let's at least have this conversation. You know what I mean?
I guess you could, at the end of the day too, you could just look at it like everything is made up. You know, it's like we made everything up. Like, so does it really matter? I don't know. Not to get like super existential or anything, but
12:30 in the morning.
It's like my my view on like cryptocurrency and shit. Like, I just look at it like money. The concept of money itself is already a made up concept. It's, you know, like to any other alien or, you know, species, like that has no value. Like, it means nothing. And so the fact that like we've created like cryptocurrency, this other like fake money, it's like nothing means anything really. Like, we attach value to what we think. I don't know, not to like get into that.
I love crypto. It's not doing well right now, unfortunately. It's it's taking a dip, but I think a lot of that's because of government intervention. Sure. I mean, I guess that'll determine whether it actually sees the light of day. But I mean, for a while it was a real, like, I don't know, it was a real middle finger. I mean, in a way, it was like
yeah, I see what you're saying.
Here's this currency that you can't tax. That, well, I mean, they can say they can tax it, but like, you know, if someone made enough crypto and they were like, okay, we're gonna arrest you, be like, okay, I'm just gonna go move to another country with my crypto.
right. What
do you mean?
Yeah. I mean,
so it's an interesting debate. The thing I don't understand about it, though, is like the mining, like the crypto mining, like the people who like are out with the fans in the desert. I don't get that. That's the part to me that doesn't make any sense. But like at face
honestly, I didn't even know that was much of a thing. So
I wish we had Molly here to pull it up. But yeah, it's like, it's a real thing. Like, people are like, there's a guy from Iowa who he's like a billionaire now because he just like started crypto mining, and it's like, I guess it's like a way for them to like track the value of the currency, or like, because, you know, there's like with currency, there's the concept of like work and value and that kind of stuff. So I think they're trying to, and this is me spitballing, I'm probably full of shit, but like this is probably like the essence of what that is, like in a digital sense. But like on face value, like cryptocurrency makes sense, right?
Sure.
Like,
I mean,
having something digitally to exchange for goods, like, that's not a crazy idea.
I got you. Yeah.
There is the glaring thing to me is like, how do you control the value worth? Like, how do you, I mean, if you have a true free market, I guess that would, you know, it would balance itself out. But if you have government regulation, like, how do you prevent, like, you know, what we have now, like crazy inflation? Like, how do you prevent like a loaf of bread costing one Bitcoin, which is like, a Bitcoin's like $40,000 right now? Like,
sure. Yeah. Like, how is that like decided?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting.
It is. I won't invest.
Have you not invested?
No. No, I haven't done any investing yet. I'd like to. But I'm also trying to save up some money so I can build something of my own someday.
Yeah.
Whether it be a business or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'd like to at some point down the road do some investing, but I just want to talk to the right people.
Yeah.
It's a bad time right now to be to be fucking investing. Yeah. I don't know. We're having some pretty existential
conversations for half hour in, but like, what? I don't know. Do you have any thoughts of where we're heading in terms of inflation? Do you think it's going to get worse? Are you bracing yourself, or?
Well, I was actually just at a meeting yesterday for work, and they were talking about a price increase on the products.
Oh.
So, and they were, you know, my boss kind of brought up a point about how you can go to the store now, spend $50, and like you cannot get anywhere near as much as you used to be able to even like 2 fucking years ago, you know? Like, yeah. Take $50. Because, I mean, it's funny, the other day I went to the store and I think I got maybe like 6 or 7 things and it was $50. And I was like, fuck, I didn't even get that much. And it does make you realize, like, it's fucking real, man. Like, things are going up, and obviously pandemic hasn't helped with labor being an issue and like problems getting these products. I mean, it's it's kind of scary, you know? I mean, who knows where the fuck it's headed?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a bubble that's started to grow, and it's just continuing. And who knows what the fuck's going to happen when it bursts.
Damn. This episode's gotten really dark. I'm sorry. Let's switch it around.
We'll spice it up.
This is what happens when I do two podcasts in a week. And the first one I don't get to talk. So the next one I just spill all
the darkest things,
all my dark shit. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, my friend.
Hey man, I'm journeying there with you. So,
I wanted to ask you about this because we've talked about video games before. I know you're a big video game buff. I've been playing an unhealthy amount of video games the last couple months myself. So,
what have you been playing?
Lately it's been actually really got into Stardew Valley recently.
Okay, I've heard good things about Stardew Valley.
I've known about it for a minute, but my girl Molly always plays it. The slave, Molly. She always plays it. And so one day I ended up getting my PC and we played together, and like I actually like really got into it. I'm like, damn, I can see it. I am starting to kind of get a little bored because it is definitely like a very repetitive game.
Sure.
It's like over time you just like build and grow. And I was grinding on Halo, on like I was streaming and doing stuff like this last month, 2 months, and like I got back on today and like I just wasn't with it. Like I couldn't choose. Like I like invested all of this time.
Well, which Halo?
The Infinite one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, so that's also a limitation too, because I'm just playing multiplayer. I'm not playing the campaign.
Sure.
So basically, I mean, I'm not shitting on video games. I'm just saying I need to find a new game. I'm trying to get. I'm actually just downloaded Fallout New Vegas again for like the millionth time.
Yeah.
Because they just put out 2 mods. They have 2 mods very recently. New California and the Frontier. Iffy, reviews, but like it's like a deep free DLC basically.
Oh, okay, that's really cool.
So like at the Frontier, they have like mods where like how it starts is like you're in like the snow and shit. So like the whole game you're just like snowy fucking.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Frontier. Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's kind of been my pullback is like the mods and but also it crashed my computer every fucking 2 hours, so that's never fun.
No, it's fucking not. Yeah, so there was one game I played called Remnant from the Ashes. It's like I think supposed to be just kind of like a shooter, a multiplayer shooter. You can play offline, but I think it's mostly meant for multiplayer. Played that for a short period in time. It was alright, and then Elden Ring came out. And
okay, I was gonna. So you have been playing that?
I have been playing that.
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus, dude.
Dude, it's really amazing. I do love it, but I kind of like the past couple days, the areas I've gotten to after killing like some of the really hard bosses, or at least, I mean, every boss is hard, but some of the bosses that I've had trouble with at the very beginning, I finally beat them. Got to some new areas, and now it's just like, dude, these places, this map is so fucking big, it's daunting. Like, it's like overwhelming. Like, I'll get there and I'm like, this is amazing, and I'm like, I don't know where the fuck to go, who I want to fight first. Like, I think that's the only thing that takes away from it sometimes, is like sometimes these worlds that you're playing in can be like so immersive and so overwhelming that you're just like, I don't even know, like there's so many fucking things to do. It's like I don't even know where to start. But I mean, that being said, like it's still a amazing game. I mean, it's beautiful, the combat's incredible. And it's still just as frustrating as any Souls game. So
yeah, that's why I won't buy it. I've never played a Souls game, but I've played games very similar to Souls games, and I've lost my shit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anybody could play a Souls game or a game like that, and it would bring out the fucking worst in everyone.
Yeah,
because it would make
the
you that
idea
angry.
of starting over kills me. Like, there's a reason I play games like Fallout and Skyrim, because you get to save
your progress.
I like it. I like being able to save.
Yeah, that's true.
I like when I spend time on a video game, I like at least being able to be like, hey, I accomplished something, not like not do 2 hours, and then be like, I literally did nothing.
Right. Well, and I guess that's the kind of, I think, the argument everyone has with it is it's like you can play the game for hours and like save up all these like, you know, runes or whatever they are that for these games like that you use to level up. And I mean, you can lose all those points or whatever in like 2 seconds. And I mean, you know, it's like the same, like when I played Bloodborne, when I was super into that game, there would be times where I would spend 3 hours or more getting all these points to level up and just losing in an instant and being like, I hate this fucking game. Like, I love this game. It's amazing. But in this moment, this is just bullshit.
They truly have like, what's the company that does those games?
From Software.
Okay, yeah, From Software. I will give them credit. They have figured their like style out, you know. But yeah,
they hate everyone. That's their fucking style.
They hate everyone.
That's funny. They just want you to fucking lose, man.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. But I on the other hand, when you do finally beat a boss that you've been trying to beat for like however long, whether it takes you a week, hours, a month, when you finally beat that boss, the payoff is like orgasmic, man. When you finally beat them, you're like, holy shit, I finally fucking did it.
See, I think that's my problem, is I don't get that. I don't get that. I've played games, I beat bosses, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, it's kind of
yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of people look at it like, why do you torture yourself? Like,
yeah. I get more excited about like when I'm playing like a death match and like I kill a motherfucker. Like after I've been trying to kill, I'm like, yes, you know, that's how I get. And that's the like. So my father, my entire family, but like when I was growing up, my father, he would get really loud for like baseball games and stuff. Mm-hmm. I had a lot of memories like waking up at 1:30 in the morning, him like drinking beer and screaming, "Yeah, go!" You know,
1:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, watching games late at night. Hell Jesus. Yeah. And he had to work the next day. You know, didn't give a shit. He was dead, kid, man. But like I'm that same way with video games in terms of like the screaming. Like I don't do it late at night because I'm not a dick. But like throughout the day and like into the night, I will definitely be like, motherfucker, you fucking cunt! Are you kidding me? Yeah, that is what is coming out of my room or out of this room constantly. And poor Molly is just, you know, scared under the covers. Is he gonna beat me next? No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
You need to chill out. No, I mean, I agree, dude. Like that, like I never was into sports or competitive in that aspect. But when it comes to video games, like take that shit seriously, man. And in those moments when you're getting heated, it's easy to get carried away. Yeah. That's the thing I don't think other people who don't play video games understand. Is it's real easy to get carried away and like heated when you're playing video games. Yeah,
well, it's easy to get lost in general.
That's true.
You know, that's that's the aspect to me that I'm always kind of like keeping in the back of my mind. Is like, how much time have I really been spending on this? And like, but you know, I will say like there is something to like, you know, some video games do have that kind of value of like putting that much time to it. Like, yeah, I think I've told you this before, but. I consider Fallout New Vegas like my all-time favorite game. Like I love it, and like I've spent probably like 700 at least hours on it. But, like I don't really regret those 700 hours. Like that's to me like a game that has rich storytelling, and you know endless possibilities, and like it was meaningful the whole time. I felt like, but there's some games where like you spend that much time and you're like, it's like I was saying, like it feels like there's no value to it.
Yeah.
So I guess, I don't know. I feel like a lot of games these days tend to delve more towards like, and maybe that has to do with like the expansion of it and like wanting to do more and more and more. But it feels like with that space, there's a lot of like downtime kind of in gaming. You know what I mean?
Well,
that's kind of like with Stardew Valley for me.
I got you. Yeah. There's definitely some games that I feel the same way about. like you feel about Fallout. I mean, shit, like BioShock, the original BioShock game,
those were good ass games.
were amazing games.
I didn't play the second, but the first and Infinite were both just
Incredible.
beautiful. I got replay those sometime. They're good games.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I've definitely logged probably like 300 at least to 400 hours into the first BioShock game, and I mean, I've like beat that game like so many times. And again, it's it's got amazing storytelling elements, just like the creatures and the different kind of like monsters that you face, and I don't know, it does a really good job of kind of breaking down like the morals of mankind, I guess, because like that game obviously is about a guy who tries to create a dystopian city underwater where the artists, the scientists, some of the best pioneers of the world can't be judged, and obviously things go awry because with all things there's always chaos.
Power and the obvious mechanical problems with having an underwater city.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, man. Yeah, those are cool ass games. BioShock Infinite. I remember the thing I loved about that was the was it the grapple hook? I think you could like shoot and like launch yourself.
Yeah, shit. I haven't played the third one in a while, but
I think I only played it once. But
I know there was maybe it was like a teleportation ability or something.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of the cool thing about those games too. Is it's kind of like Fallout in a way. Like it's a weird retro world.
Sure.
It has that same like 50s, 40s vibe to it, but it's also like retro technology. It's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the third one bringing in like the multiverse and like that ending. Wrapping up like everything and bringing it like full circle. Like, did you ever play the DLC for the third game?
No, I did not.
So the DLC actually is what brings the third game back into the first game, to the very beginning of how it's like all created. So it's like essentially you look at it like the first game is obviously like, well, no, I don't want to say like a loop, but everything that happens in the first game continues to happen, right? And then by the time the third game happens, it already loops itself back to the very beginning, bringing it like full circle into like one universe that's like this always revolving situation that's like always going to happen. And it was really cool. Like the DLC, if you haven't played it, you should, because that's like I'm saying, it literally creates the first game in a way. Kind of fucking crazy, and like it's the same creator of the first game.
Oh, I see.
So like that's why it's like, because the second game was made by a different studio, and that's why a lot of people didn't really fuck with the second game.
I couldn't finish it. Yeah,
it was like made by a different studio, and I think it was more of like a prequel. Because you play a character.
Oh, that's right.
Before all the things that happened in the first game. But yeah, man, the second or the first and the third game, the way they connect, dude, it's
fuck. I might have to replay those.
Total mind fuck, man. Yeah. Like it was incredible. I played it like a couple of years ago, because I played through them just like simultaneously multiple times. And finally seeing everything like align like that made the game that much more interesting and made me question like fucking everything. I don't know.
Yeah, man. There's some fucking trippy alternate timelines, and that's the beautiful thing about video games. Is like I've always argued that You know, there's some things that you just like should not do in a movie that like you can translate really well to video games. Like I feel like a lot of those like Michael Bay movies that people shit on, like I don't like them either, but like I think they would be great video games.
Sure.
You know, like that doing that kind of shit, like blowing up shit, like that would be fucking insane in a video game. Like I was watching I meant to replay this again too, like those like old Call of Duties, like the Black Ops and Modern Warfare 2, you know. A lot of people shit in those games too, but you know what, there was like some atmosphere of like the war in that game that was just fucking cinematic, and you know, they were at the top of their game at that time, you know. But yeah, man, people I remember like I would like show my mom, because my mom didn't like allow us really to have like consoles or play video games really.
Sure.
And I was like showing her the soundtrack to Halo, and she was like, she was shocked that it was from a video game. Like she couldn't even like wrap her head around that, because people think of like Atari, like dee, 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 you know.
Yeah,
from that generation. Yeah,
there's a lot of great games with some like really fantastic scores. I mean the score for the Spider-Man game.
I've been in. Is that good?
It's dude. That's a great.
I've wanted to play.
That's honestly, that's like they got every aspect of that superhero game right. Like Insomniac should do more shit like that.
Wow.
And actually, they're working on a Wolverine game right now. And I can't wait to see what they're gonna do, because, I mean, that story of that particular Spider-Man and that universe was very like realistic, and like you could just feel the emotion. And like that's the other cool thing about games is some games can make you feel shit that like you didn't think a fucking digital character or a bunch of pixels on a fucking screen can make you feel. Like that's the other amazing thing about video games. Like some shit goes deep.
Yeah. Have you ever cried playing a video game?
I don't know if I've ever cried. I mean, there've probably been some moments, that probably got me like teary-eyed for sure.
There's this game called To the Moon. It's a like a 2D pixelated kind of like Pokemon style game.
Okay.
And it's about this I think it's an old guy who has, I don't remember what this fucking, he has like cancer or something, and he's like, they have this thing where they have to like go back in time and like fix, oh no, that's the thing, they want to go back in time and fix his memory so that he forgets about his wife or something. And it's just, it's super fucking, I was like literally bawling at the end of this game. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm fucking crying. Yeah. But it's like, it's one of my all-time favorites. I highly recommend it. To the Moon.
To the Moon. What'd you play that on?
PC.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a 2-3 hour deal. It's a short game.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it's like probably a couple bucks. It's good.
That's
I highly
pretty cool.
recommend it. Yeah. You usually play on PlayStation, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, have you ever played a PC or thought about that? Thought about transferring over to the master race?
I mean, yeah, it would be cool to get like a really nice setup. I guess the hardest thing about honestly playing games now in general is just having the fucking time. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously I've been able to make time for Elden Ring and some of the stuff I played recently, but I definitely don't game, like I used to. So it would be tough to justify getting like a nice setup, a nice computer with a great graphics card and everything, all for it to just fucking sit there and just kind of chill until I have time.
Yeah. Would you ever stream?
Nah.
Yeah. I feel like I have the problem of like interacting with people. That's probably my biggest problem. Like sometimes I'll be game, like there was one time I was playing with Molly, we were playing Stardew, and like this guy popped on right at the beginning. It's like just started messaging us, and I was like, I'm not ready for this, dude. You know, I don't know. I like the idea of streaming, and sometimes I like interacting, but I have to be in the right mood. You know, sometimes
Sure.
I'm just too into it. So,
I mean, I don't know. It's cool that people can make a living doing what they love.
Mm-hmm.
But that definitely is not for me. And I don't even miss like playing multiplayer games. Because I mean, I used to be heavy into Battlefield Bad Company 2 or any of the Battlefield games and some of the Call of Duty stuff. I used to get on and just play with like random people.
Yeah, those were the glory days back the Xbox 360 days. Hell yeah.
I thought it was cool. I was actually thinking about how I still have some like PlayStation friends that I met when I got like my PlayStation 3. Like back in like 2008. Like I don't talk to these fucking people anymore. But it's just crazy to think that like me and this person had initially talked back in 2008 and we like had played some games together and I'm still friends with them, but like just that concept alone that you can fucking meet someone that way now is crazy. So I mean, some people become like lifelong friends playing fucking video games together online and shit. So
some people become couples. That was true. Like that was the big thing. The World of Warcraft couples. I think there's like a significant percentage of them actually get married in real life.
Oh, that get married in the game and shit.
Yeah. Like it's like 30-40%. I want to say.
Crazy. What the fuck? Yeah. I didn't know that, or I didn't know it was like that. I wouldn't expected it to be that high.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it, like so many people meet online. Like me online. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's crazy that's how the world's going.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the biggest fan of it. Yeah. I'm a face-to-face kind of guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I like to be an introvert. Like, everyone deep down, I think, enjoys the qualities of an introvert. But you still have to go out there. You still have to fucking put yourself out there and get the, social interaction. Because we thrive on that shit. That's just part of like being fucking human, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean that kind of goes back to like the confidence too. It's like yeah, I mean because I feel like I've personally struggled with that, like trying to get out and like be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it really is about just like confidence and like reframing your mind, Let me ask you. Let's go back to your music. I wanted to ask you this because you're working on two separate projects.
Gotcha.
With J-Raz and who's the other guy?
Reed.
Yeah. And we were talking about styles. Like you kind of had a different style earlier in your career. Like, do you feel like these two projects have different styles, or do you think it's all kind of the same?
No, they definitely have two different styles. I mean,
that's interesting.
With Jordan and I, this project it's kind of a collab of both of us rapping together, kind of doing back and forth type stuff. So, that one's just kind of purely my roots, my, bar for bar and just kind of like catchy hooks and stuff, just shit you can rap along to. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where that's like rooted. And that's just rap at the core. And this other project with Reed is something I've never done before. Like the newest single that we came out with called "Lost in the Moment." That's actually going to be one of the songs on the new project. So I think that project itself is more focused on the vibes and the music itself. And then bringing my voice into it and doing more vocal stuff has kind of given me like a little bit of a different insight on music itself and where I could take my music in the future if I want to. Because I mean, either way, the rap is always going to be the core of what I always do. Hip hop, that's where the true first love for me. But this new stuff is completely different from anything else I've ever done. And everyone's gonna be able to tell that, and not in a bad way or not like it doesn't sound like me. It's still me, but Reed and I think, have done a good job of bringing both of our styles into the mix and just connecting on like this really interesting level of music. Because I mean, it's not like we sat down and we're like, hey, this is how this is gonna sound. This is how it all started, just by him giving me like a bare bones idea and being like, do you think you can do something with this? And then I took some time to write something, come up with some vibes, and then, you know, we kind of created like the first song. And from there, that's kind of how we've done it, is he'll send me something, I'll analyze it, I'll get my ideas, I'll bring them to him, and then from there we just create. And there's no like specific place we're going. It's
So do you think that's a different process from working with J-Raz? Do you feel like that's more collaborative maybe?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with Jordan, I think we both understand each other just like at a certain level, that we kind of just like know what to expect of each other.
I see.
And we kind of have a better idea of where we want to go, where we're going.
Yeah.
And with Reed, it's more of just like we're both putting ourselves out there to see what we can come up with.
That's really the best of both worlds, I feel like. Like that's a really interesting difference in dynamic.
Yeah.
You know.
It's certainly not something I ever expected. And it's been cool too, because Reed is amazing guitarist. So we're gonna have some really great like guitar solos in the project as well. So that's another element that I am not used to, is like having another just like musician to work with. Because you know, Jordan obviously is an amazing producer, but I can't play an instrument. I mean, I used to play a sax, but I haven't picked that up in years. And he's, you know, Jordan's like messed around on guitar, but he doesn't really, you know, practice that.
Yeah.
So getting to work with someone who knows music and produces music for like other people and does like a lot to help out the band that my roommate's in actually has been really cool, because the styles of music that we're into, I mean, you know, I'm into rap, hip hop, R&B, and Reed is into metal and more, I don't know, rock and shit like that. So we're coming from two different backgrounds. That's been even more interesting to try and translate our own ideas to each other.
Yeah, that's cool. There was a recent Anthony Fantano video where they were discussing whether rock was dead or not. He had a very interesting argument for why it wasn't, and it was because hip hop has started utilizing a lot of guitars in music. You know, you're in like Juice WRLD's music. You know, you can probably name anyone they've used a guitar. What are your thoughts? Do you think rock and roll's dead, or do you think it's still going live and strong?
No, I can definitely see what he's onto. I don't think anything ever really dies. It just becomes a part of other things. And it's not to say it's like swallowed up by these other things or overtaken, but it helps evolve more of like the culture and like other genres themselves. So no, I wouldn't say rock and roll by any means is dead. It's just taken on a different shape or a different form. It's kind of how I feel.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I tend to think it's dead. I mean, not completely dead. There's sorry, Peter Stockdale. No, but no. I mean, I because you don't really hear it a lot. I mean, I think it probably will have a resurgence in some sense. But I think a lot of it also has to do with there isn't really any like awe or need to perform anymore. That's always been an essential part of rock and roll, is like being on stage, Jimmy, Angus Young, Jimmy Page ripping a solo. It doesn't even fucking matter anymore. You can do it on a computer. I mean, you can literally recreate Led Zeppelin with a guy on a synthesizer and a pad on a stage with lights, and it would be the exact same thing.
Well, I guess you could look at it like you gotta find it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true.
It maybe in like the grander scale, it maybe is dead, but there's still pockets here and there of people with like still have that love for rock and roll and like still feel it in their fucking soul and shit.
I mean, there's also people that love disco though.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy though, because like even some of that 80s sound is like. And 70s sound is like coming back.
It is. There's I don't remember what the theory's called, but there's a theory that like we're actually like going back in time in terms of fashion and style. Like we just hit we hit a plateau at the 90s, 2000s, and we're just traveling back in time.
Slowly making our way back there.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, that's art, man. That's how it all works.
Yeah.
Before we go to our last little thing here, do you have anything that you wanted to talk about or discuss? Anything on your mind?
Yeah, I just was gonna ask you.
Go for it.
You still haven't seen the Batman movie yet, right?
I haven't. I was actually gonna ask you about that, but I've not seen it. So if you can do it in a way with no spoilers,
sure,
that'd be the way to go.
Yeah, I'll try and just give my take.
Do your best. Yeah. I won't like hate you if you spoil something.
I don't want to. I know
it's a 3-hour movie, so
spoil anything. Yeah, but basically, I think the movie was very well done. Personally, again, all my opinion, but there was a lot of great elements. Honestly, Robert Pattinson.
He's an underrated actor.
He was great, man. I mean, I can't imagine anybody else they could have picked. But what I really loved about it was the fact that it portrayed. It portrayed just Batman is just like, he's just a regular guy, and that's like what's really cool. Is like, you see other people like Iron Man or whatever. And I'm also a Marvel fan, but when you look at those guys, you don't look at them as like just a normal regular human, like Tony Stark's out here fighting aliens and shit. Like, Hawkeye even out here fighting fucking Thanos. But it's like Batman's just a regular dude dealing with like some like fucked up criminals, basically, sadistic people. And they also did just like a fantastic job of showing him as like a detective. Because I mean, that's one of the biggest elements in Batman is like, he's the world's greatest detective. Like, that's what they fucking call him in like the comics and shit.
Exactly. And I remember hearing like so many people were like pissed about that. I'm like, no, like that's how he is in the that was the when the character was established, he was a detective.
Right.
He was like a vigilante detective. And then like, over the years we've kind of gone away from that. But I mean, yeah, I can appreciate, kind of an homage to going back to that kind of style. I like it. Yeah, it's really kind of interesting. When you're talking about like his character, it reminds me of like the Michael Keaton Batman. Because like he as like a Batman was very different in his character. And it's always kind of interesting how Batman always seems to be at the beginning of every tide that's turned in superhero films.
Sure.
I think this, like the Joker in this movie, I think this decade's going to be a wave of like really gritty, serious superhero movies. And that really excites me because that's like, that reminds me of like the 80s and 90s,
sure.
Where comics are just really dark toned and like really bad things were happening. Like, I think, I mean, that's the day I'm hoping for, because I think all these, like, I don't know how you feel about like the Marvel movies, but I think they suck. I can't stand like most of them. A couple of them are right here and there, but yeah, I mean, I think it was like kind of the same in the when Batman Begins, that kind of kickstarted the whole, that whole Marvel thing. So it's just interesting. Batman always seems to be at the beginning of the
sure. Well, and I don't know. I guess I just loved that it was so different from the other Batman movies, and
yeah,
they got a lot of things. They got a lot of things right, man. and the cast was fantastic. The city itself was really interesting, and it was cool seeing the dynamic between Batman and the city, because it's, you know, like very early on, like he hasn't been Batman for very long.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I heard is like it was a lot more realistic, and like, because isn't it what's his cave? It's something different, right? Like his whole thing.
Yeah, like it's not. He doesn't have like a bunch of like high tech shit.
Yeah,
Like a lot of his stuff that he has is like, I think, self made with like Alfred. So it's not like he's like going to like in Batman Begins when he's just going to Wayne Tower and he just has fucking Morgan Freeman building him like whatever the fuck. Build me a tank. I want these like fucking special wings that can like do impossible shit. Like he doesn't rely on like gadgetry as much as like it is in the other films, which is also cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, he obviously has like tech and he has, you know, his suit and everything, but that's not the point of his character. And I feel like that's kind of what they got away from in the, you know, the Dark Knight and stuff. Don't get me wrong though, I fucking love the Dark Knight movies.
Yeah. Oh, the Dark Knight is great. Yeah. What do you think is the best Batman then?
I don't know.
Adam West. No, I'm kidding.
I have seen the original show, because there was like a stint where I think I watched a lot of Boomerang, like the channel Boomerang.
Oh,
and, like,
okay.
And like they used to play just like old episodes of Batman and like, which was that original show was fucking ridiculous. I remember there was an episode where he's like carrying like the cliche version of like a bomb, which is like this fucking lit fuse, and he carries it like a fucking mile to get it to like a source of water where he can fucking blow it up. And I just remember watching it like, this is so fucking ridiculous. To answer your question though, I did really like Michael Keaton's Batman. My dad was a huge Michael Keaton Batman fan, like growing up, so I definitely would say he's in my top. But
you think he's better than Christian Bale? Damn.
Well, it's tough because there's like multiple ways you can look at it. You can look at it from, who do you think was a better Bruce Wayne? Who do you think was a better Batman?
Okay,
like, that's
a good
the
point.
hard argument too.
That's a good point.
You know, like Bale did a good job of being Wayne because, you know, Batman's supposed to be like a fucking playboy, and that initially is kind of what helps throw people away from the fact that Bruce Wayne would never be a hero because he's kind of a piece of shit.
Well, he had that like American Psycho kind of award.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
that
That's
kind
true.
of worked.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really like. I mean, I would put them both like in my top. Like I liked Bale. Bale was great. I also fucking liked Keaton. So I mean, as far as a favorite, I'm too indecisive of a person. I look at too many different things when deciding that. But now I would say Pattinson's in my top. Also, along with those guys, like I felt like he took the torch and he fucking carried it in this film.
Okay.
And I'm excited to see.
So what about movie then? Like what would you say your favorite movie is? Tough questions.
Of the Batman?
Yeah.
You got me fucked up, man. I don't know I'm curious, like what's yours?
I mean, I'd probably say Dark Knight. Just in terms of the cultural significance, everything with Heath Ledger and Christopher Nolan's fucking man. Like he's one of my favorites.
I do fucking love Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. What'd you think about? Because I didn't actually finish it. His last one, the Time one.
Tenet.
Yeah. What'd you think of it? I couldn't get into it, so
I thought it was. Honestly, I thought it was pretty good. The thing that was shitty was when I went to go see it in theaters with my roommate. The audio, whoever mixed the audio, fucked up. Just because like, there's so many important moments where you're trying to hear the dialogue and you can't hear it over the music. So it's like they'll be having like an important conversation and it's being completely drowned out by like, it had a great score, but it's like, I don't know I can't fucking follow. Like, this is already a hard enough film to follow with this concept of like time inversion. And now you got fucking violins like in my fucking ear blaring when they're explaining like important plot points. Like, aside from that, I mean, visually, that movie was a fucking masterpiece. And like the concept of time inversion as opposed to time travel, I thought was really cool.
Interesting.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not a movie for everyone. I know it's a hard movie to get into, but
yeah. Well, I loved Interstellar. That was like,
I haven't seen that one yet.
What? Oh my gosh, dude. That, yeah, that movie has touched me a lot of times in my life.
Sure.
It's actually part of the reason why I'm convinced to this day it's part of the reason why I got divorced.
No shit.
Yeah,
open your eyes.
Yeah, well, because me, my ex-wife, and her brother were all on acid, and we decided to watch this movie, and like it totally just broke us because it's about this guy, you know, going visiting planets, and it
Right.
deals with time also, and like.
I mean, yeah, because I've heard things like I've heard about how there's a part where it's like so many hours or minutes is so much time.
Mm-hmm. They're on this planet for like 2 hours and like a decade goes by. It's insane.
That's fucking crazy. Cool. I like that concept.
Yeah, you definitely should check it out. Don't watch it on acid. That's also my recommendation.
I gotta say that wasn't my first plan of action after you recommended it, and it definitely won't be now. So that's fair.
Oh, that's good shit. Fuck, man, this has been a fun episode. We've been doing having fun. Before we go, I have this little thing. I don't know if you know about this. We have a little thing on the show new called the Fucked Up Bucket. How this works is there are little pieces of paper with things written on them. If you don't want to, you don't have to draw them. But if you don't, then I will. So you might as well just do it. So
okay, so I'm just supposed to grab one.
but if you really don't want to, you don't have to. Yeah, just grab one.
Is it?
Yeah, you just open it and you read it out loud.
Okay. Damn. The fact that the first black VP, Kamala Harris, gained power by enslaving her own people just like her boss. So, where's the fucked up bucket?
It's fucking true though, man. Have you heard about that?
No.
Oh, for real? Yeah, when she was I don't remember. Fuck, I think she was a prosecutor in California or whatever state she was in. But she actually, pot felons, she increased their sentence so they could basically provide free labor for the state. So like all these people that were arrested for pot, you know, majority black people.
Yeah.
Yeah, she basically was just like, fuck you, and just like kept them in jail for longer sentences, used them for free work, and yeah, she's not a good person. And her boss is the one that instituted the war on, basically was part of the war on drugs, which started the whole thing in the first place.
No shit.
So, yeah.
Well, see, the fucking... I think the one concept that nobody seems to like fully grasp is... No, I mean, really, in theory, none of the people that we have in power on any scale are good people. You don't get into that line of work doing good things.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
and,
crooked.
You know, everybody's out here doing immoral shit to gain capital. I mean, like, unfortunately, that's how you get to those positions. So, whenever I do hear things like that, or things of that nature, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I mean...
No, I mean, you shouldn't be surprised of anyone that... Yeah.
No, anybody's capable of anything at this point, man. And
yeah, it's human nature, for sure.
In this time, and this world now, like all the people that we may know and love could be doing some fucking real fuck shit. I mean, they are, but you know what I mean? Like, some of the... I mean, shit. Just look at also just cancel culture in general. Like,
yeah.
I mean, fuck, James Franco. Everything with him, like, that's fucked. Like, there's a lot of people like that. And
yeah, it's nuts.
It's not the first time, and it's not the fucking last time.
Yeah, exactly. I heard James Franco's trying to like go to different conservative, or never mind. There was I was listening to a podcast where these like conservative filmmakers were like thinking about like, they were like talking like we should get those canceled actors or like Kevin Spacey and James
together.
Dude, like who wouldn't see that movie, you know? It could be made by fucking Donald Trump and people could still go see that shit.
They would, honestly. It's like I was saying earlier, like, we put people, we're obviously the ones who like give these people this power.
Yeah.
So we can't be mad because it's like we created him. We helped create him.
Yeah. Possibly. I don't know. I feel like Trump is more of a reaction to the problem than the problem, which I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's corrupt government. You know, I think Donald Trump was a really bad response to that. Essentially, I think there were a lot of people who were really upset with it, and they they went and voted for him. I don't know. Do you think he has a chance 2024? No idea. Yeah,
no idea.
I don't know either. I mean, a lot can happen in 2 years. You know, we still got midterms coming up, and we don't want to talk about that. All right, one for me. Jesus Christ. What? This doesn't even make any sense. Bribing Joe Biden to print another stimulus with 12 broken home children. What? Doesn't even make any sense. Okay. All right, I think we're ditching the fucked up bucket, everybody. No, I'm kidding. Oh shit. But yeah, that's the fucked up bucket. Sorry to put you through that.
It's all right, man. You know, I'm still here.
I'm still alive. I'm still present. Mm-hmm. Aimz, Brandon, this has been a great fucking time, man. I really appreciate you coming on, taking time to do this.
Fuck yeah,
man. Have your one free day, having to suffer through hanging out with me. I appreciate that. To let everybody know your socials, we'll put in the description. But I mean, where can everybody find you? Where's your Instagram? All that shit.
You can find me on Instagram, Aimz _rapper _ past Aimz and dat. I got new stuff coming out. I'm really excited. I hope everyone likes the new shit. My birthday is actually the day after your album comes out.
Oh, so, for real? Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, man.
I'll definitely be checking that out, man. And
how old are you coming?
I'll be 27.
Damn. Right behind you. And I'll be 27 in September.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I mean, otherwise, you can find me on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Aimz, AIMZ, and fucking stay tuned for all the new awesome shit I got coming out. You guys are going to fucking dig it, man.
Fuck yeah. Make sure to check out our album dropping, not our album, my album that he's on tomorrow. Might as well be our album. We should make an album. That'd be tight, man. It'd be another project. Sometime in the future when I don't know, after my last performance, I'm kind of maybe thinking about just focus on podcasting a little bit. There's something about 75% of your audience walking out on you that
I don't blame you, man. That's
the game. That's Iowa, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. What can you do? All right, let's get out of here. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.